Hello everybody, welcome to Mr. Go channel. We are exploring chapter 1.2, exploring citizenship and governance. So in chapter 1.2, what does it mean for me to become a citizen of my country? We have explored chapter 1, which continues from being a part of Singapore society, and today we're going to explore the advantages of joining Singapore society, continuing from 4 ways to become a Singaporean. We have shared labor, which is one of them. This allows you to enjoy the labor of others in the society. We have shared knowledge. We have the knowledge which is gained from other members of society, and we share all that we have. Just like now, sharing the knowledge with all of you. Thank you for joining this channel. Next, we have the Constitution, which is the law which protects you and your rights. Next, we have security, it protects your rights, and we have the legality, the law which protects your right in turn. So these are the three aspects: you have the Constitution, security, and legality. Next, we have a shared identity / group identity / national identity. It gives you an identity which is shared among your members of the nation. Being a Singapore citizen means that you're under the Constitution, means that you are part of this society and the laws that falls within. But what is the Constitution? It is the highest law in the land of Singapore, the land where some call the Sunny Island. So the Constitution is actually one that guides and controls the actions of any future government in case it changes or it remains in the same government. It's usually created at the birth of a nation when Singapore first became independent, and guides all subsequent laws so that they mustn't go against it. So this is like you call the law of the law. And it's more difficult to alter than ordinary laws because this is the fundamental guide that forms the nation. In the Constitution, we form the three branches. We have the legislation branch, which is where people come up with the law. We have the executive branch, which is how they carry out the law. Last but not least, we have the judiciary branch, which is where they judge and deem you guilty or not guilty if you breach a law. The function of a Constitution of Singapore that is taken from the Constitution of Singapore is that it is the source of government power. Think of like a magic ring where it gets its magic. This is its magic. So it sets a function and powers all the different organs of government that gives its power. And it limits the government power, prevent it from being too powerful for its own good. So it has power but it's within limit, and the power is shared between legislation, executive, and judiciary. It prevents the concentration power by one selected group. That's why some say you cannot be one's judge and jury at the same time. Guards the basic rights of individual. It makes sure that individual have their freedom of speech in Article 14 and the freedom of religion in Article 15. And in the freedom of speech, it may not necessarily be the same as those that you encounter, such as in the United States. It protects the minority rights. In Singapore, minority rights are given the same rights as an individual, and they are protected as well. So they should not disadvantage any racial or religious community when compared to other communities. So number 9, we have the liberty of a person. No person should be unlawfully detained. They should be detained for a reason when they breach the law. Number 10, slavery and forced labor prohibited. No person shall be made a slave, and so each is a free person. Number 11, protection against retrospective criminal law and repeated trials. No person can be punished for doing something which was not an offense when he did it. When a person commits a crime, but it is not a crime because it's not in the law, then he shall not be penalized for it. Number 12, equal protection. This applies to all people before the law, and they're entitled to equal protection. That means that even criminals have equal protection. They shall not be ill-treated nor subjected to torture or slavery as subjected in Article number 10. Number 13, freedom of movement. Subjected to certain legal exceptions, each citizen has the right to move freely throughout Singapore and to live in any part of Singapore. You have the right to do so, but there are certain parts which you may not be able to enter and move out freely, such as in a military base. 14. We have freedom of speech, assembly, and association. Subjected to certain restriction, as you know, each citizen have the right to move freely and to live in any part of Singapore and form association. So they can have a freedom of speech, example, and association depending on certain restriction. Number 15, you have the freedom to practice any religion. That means that no one should stop you from practicing your religion. Number 16, you have the right in the respect of your education. No citizen should be discriminated against based on their religious, race, descent, or place of birth. That means that if you come from another country, you should not be discriminated when it comes to administration of education institution. So in Singapore, we practice the idea of meritocracy, where you are rewarded based on your merits. Being a Singapore citizen means that you have rights. And what are your rights? You have a number of rights, and these rights means that they are a moral or legal entitlement. Without working for it, it's entitled to you to have or do something. And you have the rights to, first, preserve your life. It means that your life cannot be taken away without any reason or when you haven't breached any law. You own your possession. That is your rights, provided you buy them legally. Next, you can worship freely. Like I said, you have the freedom of religion. You can practice any religion and worship them freely. And you have the rights to be educated. In Singapore, there is 10 years of compulsory education and you need to be educated. Otherwise, for your parents, it will be against the law. Being a Singapore citizen means that you enjoy the protection of the law. If you're not, you may not be enjoying the full extent of the law. And what does the law do? The law protects your right and punishes those who takes away your right, such as the right to your own life. What are the advantages? So we have shared labor, shared knowledge, we have the constitution, the law, we have the security, it protects your rights, we have legality, and we have created the law, which in turn protect your rights. And now we move on to the last part, which is a shared identity, group identity, and last but not least, we have national identity. So being a Singapore citizen gives you a group identity. It makes you a Singaporean. And what is a group identity? A group identity is a feeling that you are not alone. You are part of something greater because you share things or actions in common. Such as a group. It gives you a sense of belonging, that you are belonging to Singapore and its society. And such as a class identity, that will be one as well when you take a group photo. That was before COVID. So what gives Singapore citizens a group identity? And is it our Singlish? When we talk about speaking Singlish, is it really that bad? Meh. Is it our national anthem and pledge, where we sing as a student every school day? Is it our National Day celebration since SG50 we have been celebrating? Or is it our food? These are ideas for you to start thinking and formulate ideas and think what really makes you a Singaporean and what really gives us a group identity. Is it something that you can distinctively recognize us when overseas, or is it something that gel us together as one Singapore? So that'll be the end of chapter 1 part 2. I hope you stay tuned to part 3, and that's it for today. Bye bye.